Hi, my name is Melissa Giles, and this is Proverbs chapter 13. As I said before in previous videos, if you haven't gone back to watch the videos from 1 through 12, then I would suggest going back and either watching the videos or going and getting your Bible and reading Proverbs 1 through 12 for it is definitely the way to change your way of thinking, to be spiritual and not to be worldly, and makes you a better person within your thinking, and ultimately will lead you to a better life. Okay, so chapter 13. A wise son hears his father's instructions, but a scoffer does not listen to rebuke. This is like, okay, so chapter 13 talks a little bit about purpose. It talks about Ecclesiastes, where really, truly, everything under the sun is completely meaningless. The only thing under the sun that is new under the sun is you. Excuse me. Is you and the way of your thinking. So, this one, are you gonna get up here and say hi? This is Kino. I don't want any kisses, but thank you. No, thank you. Don't. Stop. Get down. Okay, so, a wise man here, oh yeah, and this is, some of the commandments are on here. Please stop. Some of the commandments are on here as well, throughout Proverbs. It's also a way to maybe possibly learn what the commandments are, to build your faith and to build in love. I don't know if that just made sense. I hope it did. Okay, so a wise son hears his father's instructions, but a scoffer does not listen to rebuke. From the fruit of his mouth a man eats what is good, but the desire of the treacherous is for violence. Whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens wide his lips come to ruin. And our tongue is like the worst thing in the world, because here, get down, please. Get down. Come on. Thank you. No, stay down. Our tongue is the worst of the worst, because, you know, it can, you know, I used to say, and I said this in a previous video, get down. I don't want you up here anymore. Get down, please. Stop. No, no more. No more. Stop. Hold on a sec. Stop. Get down. Stop. Here. Okay, sorry. Our tongue, yes, our tongue is our own worst enemy, for one. What we say to other people when slandering is definitely something that we feel that we have going on the inside. You know, I used to say when I would go through an abusive relationship, you know, I would rather be beat up than to be abused mentally, because you can't take away what you say to a person, you know, and if that person is already having a hard time, you know, I mean, just, it really sticks with you, especially if you have low self-esteem or something, and it's bad. Our tongue is our own worst enemy, and rather, you know, if you say something to hurt somebody else's feelings because they said something about you, or vice versa, or whatever, just control your tongue. It's bad. It can be so bad, and it can be so hurtful. And everybody's guilty of it. I don't think that there's anybody on this planet that's not guilty of it. I know I'm guilty of it. However, through Proverbs, it's not something that you know, I mean, I can't judge anybody that does it because I used to do it too, you know, but it's hurtful. Okay, but I'll take a bruise any day over somebody telling me I'm a stupid bee or whatever it might be. All right, let's see. Whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens wide, his lips come to ruin. The soul of the sluggard craves and gets nothing, while the soul of the diligent is richly supplied. The righteous hates falsehood, but the wicked brings shame and disgrace. Righteousness guards him whose way is blameless, but sin overthrows the wicked. And remember, you know, like God makes us fools before he makes us wise. And ultimately in life, like the older we get, we want to be different. We want to be different humans. We want to be different people. Don't want to be the same person eventually, you know, over time. You know, I think that a lot of people maybe don't really grow wise until they're they don't really look to be wise until they're, you know, sick and tired of being sick and tired in their 50s, you know. And we have a chance today in this world with the way that things are presented, with the energy, you know, with all of the positive things that, you know, like on t-shirts, and I talked about this before, but like on t-shirts and things about making the world smile, and you know, blessed tattoos and things like that you know is really going to help in a lot of ways. And I just totally forgot where I was going with that, so I apologize. I started thinking about something else, and that happens a lot. But anyways, I'm just going to continue because I forgot where I was going with that. Ugh. All right. Righteousness guards him whose way is blameless, but sin overthrows the wicked. Oh yeah. So like God will make things wrong in our life for a reason, and they'll keep on going over and over and over, you know, rather it be something different each day, you know. And then we have to ask ourselves, okay, well, what is it that, you know, so most people will turn around and blame God, or there is no God, or, you know, whatever it may be, when in fact he's just, you know, he's making you a fool so that you would come to him and get knowledge and understanding of who he really is and how he's thinking and how he's working in your life to make you realize that you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so you come to know him more, and you come to learn him more, and then he starts making you wiser. And like I was saying, you know, some people, or a lot of people, don't even do that until they reach their 50s or 60s, especially if it's like some kind of addiction, you know, as drugs and alcohol, you know, or whatever. You know, some people don't ever outgrow an addiction. That's on them. But you can be that person and be like, you know, this is what worked for me during this time, and whether it be through God or the universe or whatever, I don't care what it is. It's just something greater than yourself. And in my perspective and in my opinion, everything comes from God. So whatever it is for you, it comes from God, period. All right, so one pretends to be rich yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor yet has great wealth. And it's rich and poor in spirit, not necessarily money. And honestly, you guys, like that's how I take it. I'm not a money person whatsoever. And I keep on saying that. I keep on hearing, you have to stop saying that. You have to stop saying that, because I am trying to reach a different level of prosperity in that way. However, I just have this like faith in my heart that it's going to come whether I'm a money person or not. And so, however, it still has to do with the way that you think in your mindset. So whatever it is that you're thinking, you know, that it is, and that's what it's going to be. And I do think that that is true. So with that being said, if I keep saying that, then that's just honestly who I am. And that's how I feel. That's how I truly feel. So I really don't know if that mindset's ever going to go away, honestly. That's just something else that I just need to work on, okay? The ransom of a man's life is his wealth, but a poor man hears no threat. The light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked will be put out. Lack of self-respect. Oh my. By insolence comes nothing but strife, but with those who take advice is wisdom. Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is the tree of life. And that's like a purpose. Like we all have a calling, right? And it's what we hold in our heart. That, you know, God will bring you closer to your purposes when your heart and your mind match. So if you're doing and saying things that are good, and it's in this, I'm going to talk more about this in Ecclesiastes, but if your heart and your mind, if they don't match, God outweighs the heart before he outweighs the mind. So if you think that you're getting what you want by the things that you say, yeah, you probably are, and that might be okay to man, but that's not okay to God. And so he is outweighing. He's saying, okay, but your intention in your heart is not what you're saying, and it may be working at the moment, but trust and believe that it won't happen. It won't stay that way forever. And he'll bring you, like, when you're a tree, your body is a tree of life. Your thinking is knowledge and the wisdom of God, right? And so that will bring you more into your life's purpose. When you can have those two things that are matching, because it's the heart that God it's the heart that he tests. It's not what's going on in your brain. He uses your brain so that he may come and help you with your thinking to be of his thinking, so it would be spiritual thinking. And when you can reach that point, because then ultimately you're going to be in his thinking, right? And if you're in his thinking, that's the best way of thinking, because it's spiritual thinking, right? So there's a lot more to that. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on moving. Whoever despises the word brings destruction on himself, but he who reverses the commandment will be rewarded. The teaching of the wise is the foundation of life, that one may turn away from the snares of death. Like teaching, like if you overcome something, then you should teach that, you know, how you overcame that particular problem. Good sense wins favor, but the way of the treacherous is their ruin. In everything the prudent acts with knowledge, but a fool flaunts his folly. Like bragging about doing something wrong, right? You know, how many times do you hear that about somebody, you know, who got into trouble will go and, oh, you know, like, I went and robbed this person and got this much. Or I don't even know what a good example is, but something of that nature. He goes and brags about what he did wrong. A wicked messenger falls into trouble, but a faithful envoy brings healing. Poverty and disgrace come to him who ignores instruction, but whoever heeds reproof is honored. And yeah, that's like whoever ignores instruction, like from the beginning in the very first proverb, or in Proverbs chapter 1, it talks about you were called and you did not listen. You know, you didn't listen to your calling. And so, you know, because I called you and you didn't listen, I'm not going to, what does he say? Sorry, excuse me. What do I say? Ignoring the Proverbs from 1 through 11, or 1 through 13 is ignoring instruction, but whoever heeds reproof is honored. Whoever is honoring and actually heeding to what he's trying to teach you through these Proverbs and changing your thinking to be spiritual and not of worldly, that's leading you more into your gifts and into your purpose, you know, then of course you're going to not live the life that you're supposed to live. A desire fulfilled is sweet to the soul, but to turn away from evil is an abomination to fools. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the champion of fools will suffer harm. And the companion of fools will suffer harm. And so we were talking about, when I was talking about the wise and the foolish. Disaster pursues sinners, but the righteous are rewarded with good. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the sinner's wealth is laid up at the righteous. And that's what I was talking about earlier, about when somebody goes and makes all of this money, but they were not a very good person. And so somebody else is going to go and have access to all of this wealth when they didn't even earn it and don't even work for it themselves. It's in Ecclesiastes, and we'll talk about that later. The fallow ground of the poor would yield much food, but it is swept away through injustice. Whoever spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is diligent to discipline him. The righteous has enough to satisfy his appetite, but the belly of the wicked suffer want. And with that being said, that's chapter 13 of Proverbs. And it's really just talking about the way that we think and the things that we turn to or that we do within our thinking, that we may think that it's right when it's not right. Or really seeing the way that God is thinking, how we can turn how with his help that we can turn our way of thinking to be of his thinking, so that we don't live in poverty and that we do live in purpose, and that we see the character defects that we hold within ourselves, so that we may move forward into what he has called us to do for him, and whatever that may be. I don't know what it is for you. However, I do know what can lead you up for you to find out what it is for you, and that's definitely by changing your way of thinking. So with that being said, this is Proverbs chapter 13, and my name is Melissa Giles. Thank you.